Hi, my name is Christine Wise, and this is my presentation on Moral Compass, our Module 8 assignment. So, first, I have my summaries for the 5 resources that we were given to read or watch the videos for. So, the first one being the Moral Compass, which was the video by Lee. And so, what I took away from that video were some really important things. First, being that leaders need to have integrity in everything they do and their decisions. The people that they work with and work for need to be able to trust them. And then the big thing is just really understanding right versus wrong and the ability to really, Lee really pointed out, staying on that side of what is right and being careful to not navigate towards kind of middle of the road and just always staying away from that wrong side of things. I also really liked that he pointed out that as a leader and even as an educator, just knowing that your personal life, yes, you do have a personal life, but if you're in a leadership position, then you should just assume that everything you do is going to be known by everyone. So, and then finally, the integrity reflex. So, in that, he talked about knowing what is right and then doing what is right. So, following through with that. The next resource was the video Having a Moral Compass. And so Bacaro, he talked about just decision making and always putting others first and always having respect for individuals and their dignity. I love that he pointed out just treating everyone fairly. So, fairly and consistently, being honest, and then also just considering when you're making decisions or in your behavior, just what is negotiable and what is not, and then what is acceptable and what is not. So, and then finally, just driving home that it's really important to know your values and your beliefs. And that will drive your decision making and to be really clear about those values and beliefs in everything you do. The next resource, Concepts Unwrapped, talked about this one really hit home for me. I'm a very emotional person, which sometimes is to my benefit and sometimes to my detriment. So, this one just really talked about how oftentimes moral judgments and decisions are based on emotion and intuition. And it's people often will rationalize their decisions and will reason a decision they've already made based on those emotions. And so there are a few different kinds of emotions that were really highlighted. So the first being self conscious emotions. So, how guilt and shame and embarrassment. Those can lead us to following social norms and expectations. The next being condemning emotions, contempt, anger, and disgust, and how those can lead us as well. Suffering emotions, sympathy, compassion, and empathy. And empathy being such a highlight in what should drive our moral compass. And the last thing, just that moral emotions tend to drive people to do the right thing. And that was the McCombs School of Business. Okay, next, setting your moral compass true north. And so this one talked about just making sure your heart is always in the right place. Again, going back to and reiterating the point of considering the needs of others before acting or making a decision. And then we were reminded just to follow that ethical making decision process of the rights theory. So, respecting the rights of others and living up to those obligations, following through with what you say you're going to do. Again, with decision making, just making sure that you are assessing both the benefits and the harm to the parties involved, and ultimately choosing a decision that will lead to the most benefit. Making sure that decisions are fair and equal, so no one is getting different treatment. So, consistently in just the treatment of others. Actions consistent. So, big takeaways here, just honesty, respect, empathy, integrity, responsibility. I put empathy twice because I must feel like that one's really important. But just driving, those are driving forces for our actions, our behaviors, and our decisions. And the very last one, the moral compass. So this talked about how mental processes will point us into a certain direction. And so our moral compass helps with our conduct, our duties, and is based on ultimately what is right versus what is wrong. So Tony Castro had an article that was mentioned in this resource, and basically he said that society is going in the opposite direction of the moral compass, no longer pointing north. And so part of that reason he suggests is that the moral north part of the compass can interfere with how people are currently living. So it makes things maybe less comfortable for them. However, James Kellenberger said that the more information that is available to us, and because of that, it's now leading us to a perceived increase in immoral behavior. So I think oftentimes we have conversations about, students or anything going on in the world, and why is everything so much worse, or why are we dealing with bigger issues now? Well, I think there are reasons to that, but I think he makes a really valid point in saying that we have the information to know everything that is going on at all times. So it can lead to making people think that we are struggling more as a society. So my personal moral compass, I'm gonna move this over here. I really liked just having the opportunity to sit and think about what drives me as a person. First being integrity, followed by honesty. Honesty is a really big one that was driven home to me in my childhood, and I've carried that throughout my life. Respect and how we are treating everyone. Empathy is such a huge one in what we do as teachers and future school leaders, to be able to really put ourselves in another person's position and take that that perception and really allow it to drive some of our decision making. Responsibility, just always being responsible for myself and my actions, my words, very important. A few others I have over here is passion. This is, I think, a big word that describes me. I said I'm a very emotional person, and my passion definitely drives some of my decision making sometimes. So, like I said, I think that can be a good thing and a bad thing sometimes. Grit. So, I thought this was a really personalized one to me, but just never giving up, and even when things are hard. And I know that when we're making decisions as educational leaders, they will be very difficult decisions that we're presented with. And so just having that grit to work through that with others. Kindness, of course, just in how we behave, how we treat everyone, and kindness with our decisions. And then finally, compassion. These are my references. And then finally, my addendum. So, the standard correlation, the resources provided in this assignment gave me a better understanding of a person's moral compass and how it drives our decision making. The assignment allowed me to reflect upon and analyze my own moral compass and how my moral compass will drive ethical decision making, and will cultivate ethical behavior in others. Relevance of the assignment was very relevant to my future as a school leader. It gave me insightful information on a person's moral compass, especially my own, and what all that entails. I learned how important an individual's moral compass is to our behavior, decision making, and acting with integrity. And having this opportunity to reflect on my own moral compass was very insightful. The resources helped to guide me to what qualities are important to ensure I have a moral compass that points north and towards what is right versus wrong. And then finally, my reflection, I will use the knowledge gained from this assignment in my daily life. In addition to as an educational leader, I'll remember to act and make decisions that are in the best interest of others first. Very important. And I will allow my moral compass to guide the way I treat people, handle difficult situations, and my overall behavior. All right. Thank you so much.